Hello again, and welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Row Report. I am your Royal 2IC, and today is the daily headlines report for the last day of November. I know, here in a few hours, we're going to be headed into December, so I hope you are prepared for that. We're going to jump right into this one. There is one thing that I'm going to say kind of in the final parts of this with some other kind of in-depth commentary and whatnot. So I'm gonna jump into this so we can have some time for that. So again, without further ado, and in no particular order, a U.S. drone was reported that it followed a pickup truck that entered from the Iraqi border into Syria. The said drone then carried out an airstrike, taking out the three men inside. Now, this is not extremely new, not like huge breaking news. What I find interesting is they didn't release names. It wasn't like some huge, really, important person, some high valued target. And I didn't see anything that they were going to do some really important mission or attack or anything like that. So it's very interesting that, that made the news and that got reported. So I'm gonna keep an eye on it because something just feels weird about it. I don't know if it's just optics, like, hey, we're over there and we're doing stuff, we're getting things done, but there's a lot of vagueness to this one, so it's on my radar. Next, there was a warehouse in Russia that was reportedly attacked. This came out with some pictures that it said to have been housing Iranian-made kamikaze drones. Now, in the picture, there's a huge fireball, a lot of plumes of smoke and whatnot, and we'll see what comes of that. It's kind of interesting that uh, there was an actual, supposedly alleged attack on Russian soil that is probably, if this comes out to be true, that this is kamikaze drones, that's going to be a very probably well guarded facilities for so they're saying that they think that it was a drone attack, so it's kind of ironic that a drone was used to take out a warehouse of drones, but I guess it's the world we live in now. There's an article that came out of Germany that in that report there's an estimated 5.5 million Germans that is not going to be able to afford heat for their homes. Not adequate heat, not partial heat. They're saying 5.5 million that could before heat their homes just fine, now cannot heat their homes at all. So that's it's an interesting thing. When people can't heat their heat, try that again. When people cannot heat their homes or feed their children, that's when you start getting unrest. That's when people start really getting upset about things. So it's going to be interesting to see how Germany reacts to this because when you are cold and when you are hungry, uh, emotions tend to come out. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that one. Next, there was a bunch of pictures and videos that exploded all over social media when a strange object fell into the waters off the coast of Chile. I watched some of these videos and I was looking at some of the pictures and the witnesses, what they're calling eyewitnesses, which is basically the people that posted this to the social media, strangely said that there was no warning of the strange object and there was no noise whatsoever. That's interesting, but then again, we're taking people off social media. So in the age of AI and everything else, now granted, there was a lot of pictures and videos, so it wasn't like two or three people or whatever. So did something fall? Probably. What was it? I have no clue. There was nothing I can find so far pre, and like what they were saying, there was no warning and there was no noise. So unless you just happen to be scanning the horizon with your video on, I didn't see anything. It was all afterwards. So you saw water. There's a couple with water. Um, it's just an interesting story. So I threw that in there. Next in the report, Hamas has come out publicly and claimed the responsibility for the terror attack that happened in Jerusalem. This was described as a ramming incident, and all that were involved were reportedly taken out. I do find it interesting. There's been a lot of signal jamming, GPS jamming. There's been a lot of internet outages. So to have a small group, and I say small, to have a group of people all over the countryside without means of communication, which in the prepping community, this is why communication is so important. But I often wonder if some of those smaller groups get separated during battle. And so you have a group of whatever, say 50, and then, bombs are coming in, smoke, yelling, screaming, this, that. Five or six peel off to try and, run for cover. They survive. They're out there doing their thing. And there's a ceasefire. If nobody tells them there's a ceasefire, then does a ceasefire really exist for them? So I'm not backing or making excuses. It's one of those to where without communication, you don't know what's going on. That's why communication is so key. And if you have different signal blocking and jamming and things like that, you can't get your side to tell you what's going on, nor can you listen to public services to listen to the other side to see what's going on. So uh, I don't know. It's something happened. It hit the headline, so we're going to report on it. Next, going back to Russia, Russian Supreme Court has just recognized the international public LGBT movement as an extremist organization and has banned it in the entire country. Uh, we'll see what outrage that brings. I'm sure there's a lot of hatred for Russia already, and so we'll see if that sparks some online things or if that just kind of, we already knew that anyway, but we'll see. Next is quite interesting. So the Taliban has come out and publicly threatened China that they were going to blow up the Belt and Road Strategic Business Route if they get no money from Beijing. Now, I don't know when I was trying to read this if it was no more money or no money. So I don't know if Beijing was already giving them money. I don't see the benefit that they were. Maybe they were. I don't know either way. Um, from the headline that I was reading in some of the article, it says no money from Beijing. So I don't know if this is just a, uh, I don't know, blackmail thing. Hey, we're going to go mess up your stuff if you don't give us money. I'm not quite sure how smart that is, but we'll see what happens. They might get the Elon Musk treatment, which, if you have not seen that video of the New York Times with Elon Musk, when you have quote unquote, and I try and keep it family friendly because my kid likes to watch some of my stuff. So that's why you don't see me do a whole lot of cursing, is because I have a 4-year-old that is a sponge. And so if he hears something that is new, he likes to repeat it. So therefore, I try and keep my cursing to a minimum. But in that interview, they asked Elon about the people that were going to pull their funding for ads, and he basically said, "Well, they can go f themselves." So we'll see. The mystery pneumonia that has rampaged around China is now in parts of Europe, is now in the U.S. Now, I put a little star next to this because there's 142 child cases of the white lung syndrome that have been recorded in Warren County, Ohio since August of this year. Public health officials are now saying that this is not only above the county average, but it also meets the Ohio Department of Health definition of an outbreak. Now, this has a lot of my attention, so you're going to have to forgive me because Warren County is about 3 counties away from me, and I have a 4-year-old. So, am I panicking? Absolutely not. But is there some sort of sickness going around in children? Yes, something. I don't know what it is, but there's definitely some sort of flu or something going around. And so I apologize, but this has a little bit more of my attention than some of the other things. So we'll get into that a little bit more later. I'm going to keep that to a little close to the chest until I get more information. So, but that's all I've got. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Wednesday workshop, Wednesday live stream last night. I had a blast. It was a ton of fun. Anybody that's watching that made it this far, congratulations. You rock. Make sure if you have not, go check out the Christmas giveaway video. It's like 3 minutes, I think. Listen to it, follow the directions, that way you can be entered into the tactical Christmas stocking giveaway. And with that, I hope you guys have an amazing day and a blessed day. God bless each and every single one of you. I thank you guys so much for tuning in to me. It means way more than you guys know. So thank you again. More information to come. God bless you guys. I hope you have a great night. Above everything else, remember to remain united, because we're all prepping in this together.